The crowd was already loud before Babe Ruth even stepped into the batter's box. It was the early 1920s, and baseball stadiums across America felt less like sporting venues and more like cathedrals. Vendors shouted, brass bands played, and thousands leaned forward on wooden seats, waiting for one man: George Herman Ruth Jr. They didn't just come to watch baseball anymore. They came to witness something impossible. When Babe Ruth lifted his bat, time slowed. Pitchers swallowed hard. Outfielders drifted back, sometimes too late. And when the bat met the ball, the sound cracked through the air like thunder ripping open the sky. Home run. Again. And again. But long before he became the Sultan of SWAT, before the cheers and headlines, Babe Ruth was just a troubled boy nobody knew what to do with. George Herman Ruth Jr. was born on February 6, 1895, in Baltimore, Maryland, a city buzzing with factories, saloons, and restless energy. His parents ran a tavern near the harbor, a rough place where longshoremen drank hard and tempers flared easily. Young George wasn't an easy child. He skipped school, roamed the streets, got into fights, stole food when he was hungry. Teachers labeled him uncontrollable. Neighbors whispered that he was headed for trouble, or worse. By the age of 7, his parents had run out of options. So they sent him away. Not to relatives. Not to another school. They sent him to St. Mary's Industrial School for Boys, a strict reformatory run by Xaverian brothers. To young George, it felt like abandonment. Locked doors. Uniforms. Silence. The boy who once ran free in Baltimore now lived behind brick walls. At first, he rebelled. He talked back. Broke rules. Got punished. But inside those walls, something unexpected waited for him. A man named Brother Matthias. Brother Matthias was tall, patient, and firm. He believed discipline could save lives, but also that kindness mattered just as much. He noticed something different about George. The boy was wild, yes, but strong. When he threw stones, they flew farther than anyone else's. When he swung a stick, it cut through the air like a blade. So Brother Matthias put a baseball bat in his hands. That moment changed history. George learned the game inside St. Mary's dusty yard. He learned how to pitch, how to field, and most importantly, how to hit. When the bat met the ball, something inside him clicked. Baseball gave him structure. Baseball gave him purpose. Baseball gave him a future. By his teenage years, the once troubled boy was dominating local competition. Scouts began hearing whispers. "There's a kid in Baltimore," they said. "Hits like nobody we've ever seen." In 1914, at just 19 years old, George Ruth signed a professional baseball contract with the Baltimore Orioles, a minor league team. He was raw, loud, unpolished. But he could hit the ball farther than anyone alive. Within months, his talent was impossible to ignore. The Boston Red Sox purchased his contract, and suddenly the boy from reform school was standing on a major league field. The Red Sox didn't bring him in as a hitter. They brought him in as a pitcher. And he was brilliant. Babe Ruth, a nickname given affectionately by teammates, became one of the best left-handed pitchers in baseball. He helped Boston win multiple World Series titles. But something inside him burned. He didn't just want to pitch. He wanted to hit. At the time, baseball was a quiet game. Singles. Bunts. Strategy. Home runs were rare, accidents more than intentions. Then Babe Ruth stepped up. When he swung, he didn't aim to place the ball. He aimed to destroy it. He began hitting home runs at a pace nobody believed possible. While entire teams struggled to hit a handful in a season, Ruth crushed dozens. Fans gasped. Purists complained. But crowds grew larger everywhere he played. Baseball was transforming, and Babe Ruth was the engine. In 1920, the Boston Red Sox made a decision that would haunt them forever. They traded Babe Ruth to the New York Yankees. At the time, it seemed reasonable. In hindsight, it became the most infamous trade in sports history. New York didn't just embrace Babe Ruth. It exploded around him. In his first season with the Yankees, he hit 54 home runs, more than many entire teams combined. The following year, he hit 59. Stadiums overflowed. Newspapers printed his face daily. Children copied his swing in empty lots across America. The Yankees built an entirely new stadium just to contain him. They called it the house that Ruth built. Babe Ruth wasn't just an athlete anymore. He was a symbol. In a nation recovering from war and hardship, he represented joy, power, possibility. When Babe hit a home run, people forgot their troubles, if only for a moment. With fame came temptation. Ruth lived fast. He ate too much, drank too much, stayed out too late, missed practices, broke curfews, spent money recklessly. Managers scolded him. Owners worried. Reporters followed his every move. Yet when game time arrived, he delivered. He could strike out 3 times, and still change the game with one swing. That was Babe Ruth. Flawed. Brilliant. Uncontainable. But the lifestyle began to catch up. His weight fluctuated. His body aged faster than expected. Younger players rose. Still, when October came, Babe often saved his best for last. In the 1927 season, he hit 60 home runs, a record that stood for 34 years. His Yankees, known as Murderers Row, became one of the greatest teams ever assembled. And at the center stood Babe Ruth, bat resting on his shoulder, grin wide, eyes fearless. Time, however, never loses. By the early 1930s, Ruth's skills slowly declined. He bounced between teams, including a short, disappointing stint with the Boston Braves. The cheers softened. Their headlines faded. The body that once launched baseballs into eternity could no longer keep pace. In 1935, Babe Ruth played his final major league game. When he walked away, baseball felt different. Quieter. Years later, illness struck. Cancer weakened the man who once seemed indestructible. In 1948, Babe Ruth returned to Yankee Stadium for the final time. The same stadium built for him. The same field where he ruled. He walked slowly now, supported by others. The crowd rose as one, not cheering, not shouting, but honoring. Tears filled thousands of eyes. Ruth tipped his cap. The bat that once shook the world rested gently in his hands. He died 2 months later at age 53. But legends don't end with death. Today, Babe Ruth remains more than a name. He is baseball's heartbeat. He turned the sport from strategy into spectacle. From quiet afternoons into roaring celebrations. He showed that greatness doesn't require perfection, only belief, courage, and the will to swing harder than anyone else. From a troubled boy locked behind reform school walls to the most famous athlete on earth, Babe Ruth's life proved one truth. Sometimes, the same fire that makes a child uncontrollable is the fire that lights the world. And every time a baseball disappears into the sky, carried by a mighty swing, the echo of Babe Ruth still lives, somewhere between the crack of the bat and the roar of the crowd.